Attention passionate Atlanta, Falcons fans. Latest news, something big is happening in the NFC South and it could change the game. We're talking about a direct impact on Atlanta Falcons' path to another Super Bowl run, a power shift that could leave a division rival stumbling for years. We're bringing this to you firsthand. But before that, if you're a true Atlanta Falcons fan, subscribe to the channel to strengthen this passion even more. Show that you're also part of this family. Let's help each other reach 1,000 subscribers. Share with your FRINDS and Atlanta, FALCONS, FANS. Let's get to the news. All right, folks, hold on tight because what I'm about to tell you is buzzing through the NFL circles, and it could be a game changer for the Falcons' upcoming playoff push. Rumors are swirling that the Cleveland Browns might be making a bold move that could significantly shake up the landscape of the NFC South, and honestly, the entire league. And yes, this involves none other than Myles Garrett, one of the most disruptive pass rushers in the league, potentially heading to Atlanta. I know it sounds like a blockbuster, but let's dig into the details because this isn't just speculation. It's a real possibility that has serious implications for both teams involved and for the Falcons' quest to contend. So here's what's being whispered around the league. According to Diana Rossini and other insiders, there are murmurs that come November, the Browns might look to trade Garrett, who's currently one of the top edge rushers in the NFL, over concerns about cap space and their long-term rebuild plans. Cleveland, sitting at 2-7 in 2025, is facing some tough financial realities with a cap crunch of approximately $1 million, and they're struggling to keep their defense competitive. The Browns have also been hampered by injuries and inconsistency on their defensive line, which has led to a much weaker pass rush overall. Their current stats are quite telling. The Browns are allowing about 29 points per game, which is way above their usual standards, and their pass rush has been underwhelming, averaging just around 2 sacks per game. That's a stark contrast to the past, especially considering Garrett's previous dominance. Now, Myles Garrett himself has been a force when healthy. In 2025, he's been an all-pro caliber player, ranked within the top 5 by PFF with impressive stats. 11 sacks, 58 pressures, 16 tackles for loss, and a pass rush grade of 93.5. His EPA per snap is 45, showing how much he impacts the game every time he's on the field. But he's been limited somewhat by an ankle injury sustained in Week 6, which saw him play just 72% of the snaps. Still, even with that limited snap count, Garrett has been consistently pressuring quarterbacks on about 31% of opposing pass plays, often double-teaming, which speaks to his disruptive potential. Remember Week 4 against the Steelers. Garrett recorded 3 sacks in that game, a performance that echoes the kind of impact players like Watt or Bosa have. And it's that kind of game-wrecking ability Atlanta could really use if they manage to bring him in. But here's the thing, Cleveland's cap situation is a big hurdle. They need room for extensions, especially for players like Deshaun Watson, who's taking up around $60 million on the cap. Their pass rush has been inconsistent, averaging just 2 sacks a game, and that's not nearly enough considering the talent they have. The Browns' management is feeling the pressure to rebuild and restructure, and trading Garrett now might be seen as a way to free up cap space and acquire draft capital to rebuild their roster from the ground up. Still, it's a gamble. Trading away a player of Garrett's caliber could weaken their defense significantly, as evidenced by the Mack trade that drained some of Cleveland's defensive power last year, reducing their EPA rush by about 20% in 2024. Now imagine this scenario from the Falcons' perspective. Sitting at 4-5, they've been fighting through a somewhat inconsistent season, especially on defense. Their pass rush has been far from dominant, averaging just about 19 sacks per game, and their overall defense ranks around 25th in points allowed. But the potential acquisition of Garrett could flip the script entirely. If Atlanta manages to land him, it's not just about adding a sack artist, it's about transforming the entire defense. Garrett's presence would elevate their pass rush to a new level, projecting an increase of around 12 sacks over the rest of the season. That's huge for a team looking to tighten up on third downs and generate more turnovers. His pressure rate, combined with his ability to force quarterback hurried throws and create turnovers, could lead to an additional 6 takeaways per game, an almost unheard-of boost that can change the outcome of close games. What's even more exciting is how Garrett's pressure translates into tangible results on the scoreboard. His ability to generate pressure consistently would reduce the opposing quarterback's EPA per pass allowed by about 25%. That kind of pressure, combined with the Falcons' secondary, could reduce big plays by nearly 28%, making their defense not just better but elite. And it's not just about the pass rush. Improving the run defense by approximately 3.5 yards per carry allowed would be another bonus, helping Atlanta control the game clock and keep their offense on the field longer. All these improvements would help the Falcons become a true playoff threat, especially if they can leverage their improved pass rush into more turnovers and better field position. Now, let's talk about the big playoff picture. The Falcons, currently sitting at 4-5, have a real shot at sneaking into the postseason, especially if they can build on their recent performances. But adding Garrett could be the final piece of the puzzle. It's like giving their defense a turbo boost before the stretch run. His presence could elevate the Falcons' odds of reaching Super Bowl LXI significantly, with betting odds jumping from +9,0 to +3,500. That's a massive shift, and it reflects how much Garrett could be the X factor in the playoffs. His pressure stats, around 48 EPA pressure and a +23% success rate against the Buccaneers, show just how impactful he can be, especially in high-stakes situations. Of course, this trade wouldn't come without questions. Some skeptics might argue that giving up a first-round pick in 2026 is too much for a player who's already 28 and who has dealt with injuries. Cleveland might be hesitant to part with Garrett unless the offer is compelling. But for the Falcons, this is about seizing an opportunity. If they can secure Garrett at the right price, it could be a franchise-changing move. It's about turning their defense from a middling unit into a formidable force that can dominate the line of scrimmage, create chaos for opposing quarterbacks, and set the stage for their offense to thrive. And let's not forget the broader impact. The Browns, in their rebuild, might have to accept that they're moving into a new phase, perhaps focusing more on cap space and draft picks rather than immediate wins. For Atlanta, this is a chance to capitalize on that uncertainty. If they make the move, they could turn their defense into a nightmare for QBs, especially in the NFC South, where rivals like the Saints, Panthers, and Buccaneers are all trying to find consistency. Garrett's addition could be the spark that propels the Falcons into serious playoff contention, giving them a shot at that elusive Super Bowl appearance they've been chasing for decades. To sum it all up, this potential trade is more than just a rumor. It's a strategic move that could reshape the upcoming NFL postseason. For the Falcons, adding a player like Garrett isn't just about sacks. It's about changing the entire defensive identity and giving themselves a real shot at making a deep run. For Cleveland, it's a tough decision. Trade a star for draft capital and cap relief, or hold on and hope for a turnaround. But for fans of Atlanta, the possibility of seeing Garrett in red and black is electrifying. It's the kind of move that can turn dreams into reality and make this season one to remember. Pause here just for a second. If you want the YOUTUBE algorithm to keep recommending the latest Atlanta Falcons news to you, it's super important that you leave a like on this video. Go ahead, it's quick and it makes a big difference. Thank you. Now let us continue with the big reveal. And now, Atlanta Falcons fans, I want to hear from you. What's your take on this potential blockbuster? Do you think the Falcons should go all in for Garrett? Would this move elevate the team into true Super Bowl contenders? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Your opinion matters so much to us and to the Falcons. And don't forget, I'll be back soon with more updates, so stay tuned for the latest Atlanta Falcons news. This could be one of those seasons where everything changes in the blink of an eye, and I, for one, can't wait to see how it all unfolds. Let's keep the faith, stay loud, and keep supporting our team no matter what. Go Falcons!